Yo guys, what's going on? Christopher Lopez with BeastBrotherhood.com, and in this video we're going to be covering how to do a bicep workout with dumbbells. Now, dumbbells, obviously, they're a great tool for home gyms because they don't take up a lot of space. You can have a fairly small dumbbell rack and have a decent amount of weight on it, and it gives you a little bit more options than, say, a typical barbell, and obviously saves space. So when you do your bicep workouts, I typically like to use the bar, obviously, for the heavier sets of curls. You can do heavy curls with dumbbells as well, but a lot of times when you use the dumbbells for the heavy work, you see people, they start to swing their hips and punch the dumbbells up like an uppercut. You're taking the tension off the biceps when you do that. So typically when I go with dumbbells, I'm going in a moderate rep range, something that I can control the weight up. With the bar, it's a little bit different because you have both arms on the bar, and you can kind of pop the hips into it a little bit if you need to get those last couple reps, but you're not actually like throwing the hips hardcore into it, or at least you shouldn't be. With the dumbbells, it's a little harder to do those cheat reps without swinging. So moderate reps on the dumbbell curls, and there's a couple different ways I work them into my workout. So the first is I like to do advanced techniques, especially after I do my heavy work. So let's say I do a set of 6 to 8 bar curls, okay, a few sets of those to start my arm workout. And then after we do bar curls, maybe we do some form of dumbbell curls. So with dumbbell curl, you can either do standard dumbbell curls, right, where you just come up this way, right, you're keeping the elbows back, you're squeezing the biceps. You can do hammer curls. People do them this way. I prefer hammer curls across the body. I just like them better. At the bottom, you can flex the tricep a little bit, work on the tris a little bit too, and it keeps the weight along the body, and it makes it a little bit more. There's a little bit less like torque on my elbows when I do it that way. So I like to do hammer curls across the body. Those are the two main dumbbell variations I use for curls. Now, as far as rep ranges go, dumbbells, you can kind of get creative because you can make the intensity super high without actually using a ton of weight. So one method I like to do is a rest pause set. So I'll take a weight I can generally do for 15 to 20 reps on each arm, and I'll rep out. Do as many as I can, right? Between that rep range of 15 to 20. Then I'll take a 10-second break. I'll take 10 deep breaths. Once those 10 deep breaths are up, I'm hitting it again. I do another set, max out to failure. That first set should be to failure. Okay? Second set should be to failure. Now the second set you may get less reps. You may get between 8 and 12. It's pretty standard. And to failure means to failure, like you can't do anymore. Like that last rep or two should be excruciating. You should have swollen pumps, swollen arms. And then that second set obviously is to failure as well. So you may get 8 to 12 on the second one. Then you take 10 seconds or 10 deep breaths, and you hit a third failure set with the same amount of weight for all 3 sets. Okay, that's a great way to increase the intensity through the roof, get a lot of volume in a short amount of time, and really tax those biceps, make them burn, get that pump going. Because sometimes your standard sets of like 4 sets of 8, 4 sets of 10. We take too long of breaks. The intensity is just not there, and it'll take you 10-15 minutes to get through 4 to 6 sets of regular curls because you're taking the 2-minute breaks, you're going to get a drink, you're talking to your buddy at the gym. When you do a rest pause set, it's, you rep out, squeeze those biceps up, you take that 10-second break and you hit it again. There's no room for talking, there's no room for grabbing a sip of water. Like, you got to get ready for that next set. So that's 3 sets you can do immediately, one after the other. Jack that intensity up, really boost the growth of your biceps. Because sometimes those regular standard sets of reps that we do, our body gets accustomed to that stuff. So you got to throw a curveball once in a while, okay? The other advanced technique that I like to do is called running the rack. Now I did a video on this, another video on this. You could probably find it on this channel somewhere. But I want to go over it again because it's one of my favorite methods to train arms. Number one, it gives you a massive pump. You feel so swollen when you're done with this. You should be exhausted, and you would do this at the end of your arm workout once in a while. I would not do this every week because this is super high intensity. It's going to take a little bit more time to recover for something like this if you do it right. So what you do is you grab a weight that you can do 12 reps with, 15 reps with, Usually I start like between 40s and 50s. If I'm going with a heavier set on running the rack, I'll go with 60s. And I'll do my curls, depending on what rep range it is that day. So I'll do my first set. Let's say it's 50 pounds. Right? I do my first set to failure. As many as I can get on one arm, or as many as I can get on both arms, one arm, both sides, right? I rack it up. Then I drop to 45s. Grab the 45s, boom, 5 pounds down, you're repping out. You're going to town, right? Repping out. You go to failure again. Re-rack the 45s. You run down to the 40s. Rep out the 40s, right? It's to failure. You rack the 40s, 35s, you go to 35s, as many as you can. Rack them up. Now once you get to those middle weights, between like 35 and 25 or 35 and 20, you're going to get a decent amount of reps. So you're going to get usually between 6 and 12 reps depending on the weight, all right? But make sure the reps are quality. You're not just throwing them up, right? Really squeeze that bicep. Think about what you're actually doing with the weight. You know, lift the weight, don't just move it. All right, don't just move it. Lift it with the muscles. Lift, okay? So then you drop down to your 30 and 35s, hit the 35s, and you hit the 30s, many reps as you can. Then you do 25s and 20s, and I usually finish with 15s. 10s could be a little light. You know, if you're doing repping out with 10s, you know, maybe you didn't go super heavy with or super intense with the last few sets of dumbbell curls. But those are my 2 favorite bicep workouts for dumbbells. Now, if you don't have a full rack, let's say you're training at home, if you don't have a full rack, you actually have to get creative in increasing the intensity. So let's say you have one pair of 20-pound dumbbells. All right? A couple things you can do. Number one, you could do super slow reps, right, which is going to tax those muscles, okay, because you are controlling, you know, you're not just throwing the weight up, you're actually physically using energy to contract those muscles nice and slow. And when you're coming down, you're actually fighting the weight, you're fighting gravity coming down, so that takes energy too. That's going to tax you, that's going to tire you out. So you can go super slow. You can add something called fat grips. I don't know where I put them. I had them. Let me grab them over here. They're like these rubber grips you can get. I'll link these up for you guys. Sorry guys, they were on a bar. I had to go find them. They're usually out by the dumbbells. But they're fat grips. You put these on the dumbbells themselves, and it makes the grip harder to hold the actual weight, and that will in turn increase the intensity of a lighter weight. So like if you can curl 60s with regular grips, you try curling 60s with these guys, it's going to jack the intensity up. But I'll link these up for you guys in another video. You guys can check these out as well. And that's it. If you don't have a full rack, again, you just have to be creative. You have to think outside the box a little bit. Maybe you do high volume sets of 50. Okay, volume, as long as it's controlled and it's intense, will help you grow muscle. So those are a few different ways you can use dumbbells to build your biceps up. If you guys like this video, if it helped you out, be sure to like, comment with some of the issues you face, maybe when you're arm training or any other training or muscle building or strength training related issues you might have. Share this video if you think it could help somebody else, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a ton of other videos going up. I put videos up all the time. And last but not least, oh, I forgot. On the right-hand side of the screen here, what I want you to do is click the link that pops up. I'm going to give you guys a free arm training gift. Just my way of saying thank you for being awesome, watching my stuff, being interactive and engaged, and hanging out for the last few minutes. So that's all I got, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Later.